All right, we're back here once again on Couch Coach Live. Once again, here another Wednesday night under the lights here at Couch Coach Live. Got a special guest in the building. What's going on? I think this is your third time. I think I got TonyTheSavant is in the building. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, big bro? Yeah. Three's a charm. Definitely not gonna be the last time. This is my
Sure.
second home over
For
here on
sure.
couch, man.
For sure. What's going on, Maui?
Chilling, man, chilling. It's just I'm excited, man. Like we've been waiting damn near a week. You know what I mean? A lot of little
Yeah.
things going on, and I was like, me and you is once a week, so I'm just like, man. Every time I see something, I'll be like, damn, should I hit him? And damn, I wish we could do a live right now. Like, there's so much stuff going on. But
Yeah.
man, I'm excited, man. Welcome, Tony, man. It's good seeing you.
You too, man. Thank you, big bro. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. So we'll talk about the WNBA. Pretty much we'll ask the question: is everything is last? I would say Wednesdays. Pretty much this whole WNBA season, everything that has coincided, coupled with everything that kind of went crazy on Monday. Is this drama worth for the WNBA? Then we'll do our NBA Finals previews. We'll talk about the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks squaring off in the NBA Finals tomorrow night. And then also we'll reflect on the life of Larry Allen, and then we'll close the show on out. So I've got a great show lined up for you. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna kick that intro, and we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. All right, this intro to play again. Yes, and we like that, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. So we got to get into it. So we'll set it all up. So pretty much, I honestly think when we talk about this WNBA situation, I kind of low key, as far as from WNBA standpoint, because where it really started off, Jeff Teague bought us there. So shout out to our guy Jeff Teague. So Jeff Teague was the first one, I think, in my personal opinion, who kind of started this whole like the Caitlin Clarke WNBA thing that we kind of leave to the day, where essentially he was saying, hey, y'all gotta let her live, let her do her thing, give her the yellow brick road, and let her just do her thing. Don't get her way. I think Colin Cowherd kind of was in that same type of echo as well, and then obviously Charles Barkley echoed LeBron James' sentiments during Inside the NBA one night and was saying, hey, that the women are jealous, that let her do her thing. Saturday. And what's crazy about all that is, so it was the heralded matchup between Angel Reese, Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever. It is, as you know, if you haven't been sleeping on the rock, Caitlin Clarke plays for that team. So there was a situation in there where Shannon Carter from the Chicago Sky did a quote unquote shoulder check to Caitlin Clarke, and obviously that was what was reported in the media. But we know that was how that transpired due to obviously a play previously where Caitlin Clarke was kind of going back and forth with her. So not saying that, hey, she bought on herself, but it was kind of, it was one thing. So that we get here. So then on Monday, this discourse leads to the main topic on First Take. And I won't pay no mind. I usually don't watch First Take, for the most part. But I don't know, for some odd reason, Tony, for some odd reason, he put up something about, Steve Monty McNutt is cooking Stephen A. Smith, and I'm like, okay, like I need to figure out what's going on with that. So I got somewhat of an excerpt of that. I want to see if my internet's gonna let me be great with it. If not, we're gonna see. All right, and it's just let's see, is it coming up? So before we get that, just wanted to do fair use, and it'll be coming up shortly. So this is just excerpt from First Take where it said the McNutt and Stephen A. Smith discourse came into play.
These women understand that, but she cannot be babied as a rookie. That's all I'm at.
All right.
Who talks about the more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we got to go. You guys.
So did you
know you're my guy, but
who does more than
Stephen,
us?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
All right, let's.
You're my guy, but I'm talking to you.
Guys. I really appreciate
you my girl, but you've missed a lot of episodes of First Take. You missed a lot.
Stephen A., 3 years ago, you were not talking about the W at this level. Don't do that.
Guys.
Nobody
That's why I'm single.
So then wait, there's more. And as the late I think the guy from the infomercial guy, I forgot Billy Blank. No, was it Billy Blanks? But anyway, RIP to him. But wait, there's more. So obviously, as we know, how First Take comes on and they end at 12. Then Pat McAfee comes in after said First Take, and he on his wall he shows the rookie class, and he said, you know what, we're not here for the rookie class, we're here for that white B. To paraphrase it, that's what Pat McAfee said. That's not the thoughts of any of us here on the table today, on the couch today. So we'll go around the horn, fellas. With everything that's going on, we kind of talked about a subset of the drama that happened in the last 48 hours. Is the drama, in your personal opinion, worth it as far as for the WNBA? As far as is it a good thing for the WNBA, or is it a bad thing? I'm gonna go with you first, Tony. What are your thoughts?
To be honest, big bro, I come from an era where no press is bad press, and not in the sense of, you don't want to be in no felony or nothing like in trouble with the law, but in the same breath, this is within competitive sports. The only thing I think is bad about it is that people are kind of overblowing every little thing because it's women's sports. I mean, I know all of us remember the Michael Jordan Bad Boys era. Michael Jordan was getting knocked up, so we've seen this level of physicality versus the new kid on the block before. But as far as all of the drama going on, everybody tuning in, tapping in, I think is very good for the league. It's bringing exposure. And, we're getting a new fan base. A lot of them are casuals. They just coming in because they love Caitlin Clarke. But there's a lot of people that's paying attention now to the WNBA. My only hope is that the WNBA capitalizes on it, and are able to catapult with this leverage. So I think it's a good thing, big bro.
Sure. What you got, Mal? What's your thoughts?
Man, same thing. To me, even with Pat saying something, how he said it, I just think this is I want to say scripted, but I don't know the right word to make it. I feel like I'm not saying the games are fixed, but I'm saying this is part of the storyline. Like if you ever watched a wrestling match, the guy gets beat up, and then at the end of the match, he comes back like Hulk Hogan. He gets this thing, and I think that's part of the story. Is that we all know she's bringing that in. Even on Reese, like she keeps saying like, I'm here too. We know that, you know what I'm saying. But every time you say something, we either gonna love it or hate it. And with her, they either gonna love and hate her. But I think the media is also, because they are females, they're learning how to report it, because it's a very sensitive line there. And I think they're just okay, it's like doing a work of art. You know, you cut a little bit there, you do a little bit there, you do a little bit here. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be it's a thin line there, as you can see um with Monica and Stephen A. Like Stephen A. If that would have been most likely a guy, he would have went off in a professional way. But he know, and especially since he has sisters, he know he literally can only go so far. You know what I mean? He know he only can go so far because or everything will come at him. But your question is, I think it's great. I don't think it's overblown. I think it's like I'm talking about the playoffs, and one of my closest friends, he's watching the WNBA. He don't even care about the NBA playoffs. He's watching the W, and he's saying all these different names. He's saying all these different things, and some of the podcasts I watch during the day talking about sports, they're going to the games and they're giving you insight of who to check out for, who to watch. I think, and then we all have podcasts, so it's very important for this to happen, to show the physicality, to show all these different things, because we're really watching it because of injuries and see how they grow, just like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and on and on and on and on. So I think it's great. I think it's all part of it. You know, sometimes when you watch a game and a person do a dirty shot, it plays with your emotions. You have to go say, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You go say, hey man, that ain't right. That ain't right. You know what I mean? But that keeps us, you know, because if you just see them go up and down and they do layups, you'll probably get bored. So I think it's great all around.
Yeah, I think it is for me. I think it is worth it. I think it's one of those things when you have to realize when a sport like that grows in this type of form, it's got to be some type of storyline behind it. So I think that's the beauty of it all. I think when it comes to, in my personal opinion, every sport deals with this. Every major sport deals with a situation where we don't necessarily talk about the game, certain players, certain things about elements of the game. I mean, you can say the same thing like in the NFL. You know, if you look at how the Kansas City Chiefs, they won their second straight Super Bowl, but what was the biggest prevailing story was Taylor Swift. You know, somebody, you know, so you look at that type of situation, and then look at the NBA. You look at now, we can ready to talk about the NBA Finals, who's had the biggest headline today, LeBron James. So it's kind of just one of those things where you just look at it from that standpoint of, you know, you're always going to have these somewhat subset side stories that won't, you know, that's not necessarily related to the actual game itself. So you know, I like it. It's to a point where it was bound to happen, and I think that, you know, I know a lot of people look at as far as Caitlin Clarke. She's like, you know, she's the catalyst of all this, like as far as all the change that has happened as of late. But all this stuff was kind of cooking in already in the oven anyway. I know a lot of people, you know, when they think about, you know, it's like, well, you know, I know like Jeff Teague and they were all like saying, hey, let her do her thing because she's your cash cow. In theory, somewhat, but they were still doing stuff like as far as the charter flights was in play anyway, because obviously that was a storyline, you know, as far as something Monica McNutt probably would have suggested maybe 3 years ago, what could have been a topic where they had situations where these people, you know, the women were flying, you know, charter flights. They, you know, not charter flight, they were, you know, flying commercial, like, you know, with us, you know. So you look at that, and then also the expansion with Toronto and Golden State, that was going to happen anyway. So it's kind of one of the things where I look at it like this. I look at it in WNBA in the sense, like, think about now, you know, we talk about summertime. Think about like the grill method in the sense where you like that one match. You got, you know, have the embers are kind of like, you know, turning gray, and then I think Caitlin Clarke coming in and that rookie class, I will lump them all into it. They were like the lightning fluid. They really got the grill going and got to a point. Because they were still, WNBA was still having buzz, but not like the type of buzz that we got now. So it's one of the things where, you know, I know a lot of people, like you said, people, you know, there are a lot of casual people that now have entered the WNBA chat. So it's kind of one of those where, and that's going to happen. And I think you're going to, you know, when you have casual, you know, and that's what makes up the population of fandom. It's the casuals. Just like you know, when I talked about the other two examples in the NBA and NFL, they have casuals. We all know they have casuals.
Can I ask you, gentlemen, a question, Big Bro? Because you brought something to my mind as far as I feel like the number one culprit in all this is the WNBA. As far as they doing they thing with the Caitlin Clarke press. You know, it's almost around the clock. It's almost LeBron level at this point. Because every time I look at ESPN, it's Caitlin Clarke or the NBA Finals right now. But I would say that the WNBA has a golden opportunity right now. Not only do they have a Larry Bird and a Magic Johnson, they also have a class of 2003. You know, when we had a deep roster, LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, Carmelo, all of this just generational talent. I think the WNBA is doing a disservice to the other young ladies that came out of this, probably the most legendary draft, if they all pan out just right, because it's that young lady, Alyssa Pilley. I don't remember her name exactly. She's balling in Minnesota. She's just now getting minutes too. She had to earn her spot. You know, nobody really knows her story, but she was on the brink of being cut. You know what I mean? So Cameron Brink to me looks like a young Lisa Leslie as far as on both sides of the ball being effective. And even we could go with Angel Reese, she plays for my Chicago Sky. So I'm a little biased when it comes to Angel right now. Right. And I love their LSU too, but Angel Reese is a dog. You know what I mean? She ain't exactly, you know, her offensive game gonna need some work, but that defensive game is there, and you know, defense wins championships. May I ask you, gentlemen, do y'all think the WNBA is kind of dropping the ball? Because I see the media is kind of creating some division, you know, as far as pitting Caitlin Clarke against the world, essentially. But I think the WNBA can do a little bit better as far as marketing. Do y'all think that they should be held a little bit more accountable as far as what's going on right now?
Can I answer, Coach?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think they don't really know how. To be honest with you, just like probably the NBA didn't know back in the day. Like I just watched that movie Air, and it was explaining specific things of how they was going to put Michael Jordan out and how they was distributing money. This is what I think. The Fever got one of the worst records, right, in the league, and everybody's watching her. But by watching her, they're going to watch those other players. You understand what I'm saying? I think that's what is going to happen. We all know who our nemesis is. You know what I mean? And I just think it's all part of the story. It's like what was the year Iverson went number one?
96.
96. Now you look at that draft, right? And then there's a young man that came right out of high school. Nobody really knew who he was. But when you really look at it, probably out of everybody in that draft, he ended up being honestly the best player out of that whole draft, and that was Kobe Bryant, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think you are right, but I think that they could do better, but I don't even think they know how to do better. You know what I mean? Like I said, one thing I say this, because of her and Reese and what they did in college and the viewership, we talked about it on the show. A lot of answers were being put out there, how they didn't have guaranteed contracts for rookies or something like that, and then all these older players, and then all these old school coaches, and how they have all these older players and they dog the rookies and they take them a long time before they get their money. And I was like, oh, so that's the issue. You're supposed to really, a league is going to die if you're not trying to fix so the younger players can evolve. Because Layla Ali was saying if her father was to fight right now, he probably wouldn't be Muhammad Ali, because he was so far ahead when he was boxing, when he was in his prime, that everybody evolves. You know what I mean? So that made perfect sense to me. I was like, well, damn, Taurasi's still playing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is she doing still playing? So you are right by saying that. I haven't watched any game, but I feel like I'm unpopular and I'm uncool because everybody I'm talking to is watching it. You know what I mean? They asking me, man, how you see it? I said, well, I got this app right here, or you know what I'm saying? So and eventually it's gonna all hit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a great question, though.
Thank you, big bro. Thank you. What'd you say, Coach?
Yeah, I think it'll play itself out. I think the beauty thing about this draft class, I think they are so marketable that they're so intertwined with social media. Like obviously, like you said, you talk about Cameron Brink, Rickea Jackson. You look at Angel Reese. They are like social media stars, and I think that's one thing too, where I think they will, their appeal, in my personal opinion, is going to command a draw. I mean, that's one thing I think too, where you look at how it's set up at this point. Yeah, because and I think in any league you can always look at other stuff because we can, the Connecticut Sun, what they're like 9-0, they're undefeated. So they're like one of them. I think they're the only undefeated team, and then you still have a Las Vegas Aces team that's still, for the most part, dominant. I think they lost, one or two games, but I think it all will eventually play itself out. I think, and the league in a weird way, I think, and it's kind of hard for them to even market it anyway. I think even because I don't necessarily think. I think generally what's going to happen, and I think that's how it is for most leagues. Is the players are going to be the ones who are really going to be the ones that are going to be the ones that make themselves in a sense marketable. I think because back then it used to be a little bit different because obviously you had like a Jordan. So like when you had games, it's like Jordan versus this person, Jordan versus this. You see it a little bit now, like in the league in the NBA, but like you see in the WNBA, you see it more. So like people say like the Caitlin versus. Versus Angel Reese. But I definitely think this rookie class for sure. I think they're going to go down in history as far as changing. I think the dynamic of the marketability of the league for sure.
Like that.
I think coaches too. I think they need to get some recognizable players with personalities that want to coach. Because a lot of them's on podcasts. You can tell that they want to coach. You know what I mean? Like I think. Scoops. Yeah, I think a lot of ex-players from the NBA, WNBA and NBA. I think that would help a lot. You know what I mean? Because like what you're hearing too is like coaching wise, they don't even know what to do with. Like I'm hearing people saying like, man, they're not coaching her right. They're not using her weapons. I'm talking about Clarke. They're saying they're not using her to her abilities. You know what I mean? I've heard that quite a few on a bunch of podcasts. They said they went there and they was like, man. Like they got to be using her better. It's like they, and that's what they said a couple years ago when they was like, man, they still playing an old school style of basketball. And also one more thing, I think Clarke is the one, but I think the one that's still in college that's coming. What's her name? Asia. I think that's the one they get ready for. I'm sorry, Juju. I think Juju the one. And I think they just getting the ball started because I think when Juju get there, and then she look good.
Yeah.
She need to come to the Wizards. Yeah,
I think y'all gonna get Paige. Paige Michaels was at the Mystics games the other day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think especially with Aaliyah Edwards. Yeah, that makes sense. And then because they gonna have the number one pick.
Between y'all and Indiana.
But
oh my God, it's like how
when people give advice to the WNBA, it just seemed like all the older players or analysts would get so defensive, like they would take everything to heart. Man, it's like we want y'all to shine. I'm asking true basketball players. One dude was like, man, they need to dunk. He was like, they need to bring the hoop down and they need to dunk. I'm like, what? To me, that's not a real hooper, dude. That would say, I'm like, man, female basketball it's real basketball, man. Like, it's the beauty of it. He was like, man, and he a Kobe Bryant type of guy where I don't care. I 1/85. You know what I'm saying? So I was I hear a bunch of people saying that, and I was just like, and then everybody seemed like somebody would say something. They were just like, well, you don't really know what we doing. Do you even watch the WNBA? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, okay. So y'all just don't really want no help. Y'all got it. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, Mal.
And shout out to our guy, Walker Mark. Shout out to our guy. Shout out to Kansas City Chiefs. These new WNBA fans and media with these played out narratives are tiring already. Oh, yes, for sure. Yep. And it's for sure.
It's a lot of sensitive fans nowadays, man. Back in the days, you just if your guy, your particular favorite player wasn't playing great or they got roughed up, you just roll with the punches. It's like, hey, I don't remember anybody crying about, I remember a lot of people saying the Pistons were a dirty team. I was a little kid back, but I don't remember anybody saying, make it easier for Jordan. Now, David Stern got hip to it, and was like, it's my golden goose. But nowadays, man, it don't take nothing for these fans to get on the internet and just be crucifying you.
And trust me, she's been balling for a long time. Caitlin been balling for a long time, and I'm sure she's been hit harder than that. You know what I mean? I'm sure she has. And she, remember in the bubble where Montreal said to Luka, something white boy, and then they shook on it, and Luka said, "Man, I wasn't even tripping off that." And then it ain't like it's the first time. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's the fans that, because I think she cool with it. Like, because even with this situation with Sinead Carter, she said, "Hey, it happens. I get my foul, get my shots, and I just keep it moving." It's the fans, like, and I think, like you said, the difference between when the Pistons were we didn't have social media, so you had the fans, but they probably had the right letters to the league, versus hey. You can send out a tweet now, and you can go viral off of the tweet. So, and it's kind of one of the things we knew was going to happen because obviously, and I've talked about this before, like as far as her fan base essentially getting mad at Cheryl Swoops and also Diana Taurasi, because obviously, especially with Diana Taurasi, unlike Diana Taurasi, wow. And all she just said was, "Hey, it's going to be a learning curve." She, but she'll be fine. It's a learning curve. Anytime you get mad at somebody who's been in the league for 20 plus years, like she's telling you how the league works. That's what you're gonna. That's like if somebody says that like hey, say if it's a rookie that's coming out this year in the NBA draft, and LeBron James said, "Hey, there's gonna be an adjustment." He's played in the league for 20 plus years.
Yeah,
that should be the gospel at this point. But the whole thing with Diana Taurasi, they're just like she's hating. I'm like, she's not hating. She's just telling the truth.
Exactly.
But but that's her fan base. And we've talked about this ad nauseum about her fan base, and like I even made a comparison to Cheryl Swoops. It literally was like Caitlin Clarke 30 years ago. Yeah. And so she understands this as well. And I'm like, you got to understand, Cheryl Swoops is one of the main reasons why there is a league. Yeah. Like, so it's just like, to me, like somebody made a perfect example. It's like the WNBA is like the rap game. It's like no one respects the OGs.
Oh, good point.
And I thought that was a funny, and I was like, and somebody said it on YouTube the other day. I'm like, that's right. Because like, that's how it is. It's like, she's the reason why you are here in the WNBA in the first place.
Yes, sir. Say it again.
For her and a couple of other players, yeah.
I've never understood why the WNBA don't get Maya more involved in things. I know Candace Parker is kind of like an ambassador, but she's more into the NBA now because the WNBA, they just mistreat they talent, man. I don't get it, man. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, and you bring a good point because like Candace Parker was another one where when she first got in the league, they roughed her up. I don't remember when they damn near had her on the floor in Detroit.
Yeah, Bill Laimbeer put the APB out. Bill Laimbeer said, "Give her the Jordan grooves."
Right, R.I.P. to Detroit Shock, but but it's what it is. But I'm just saying, like, and that's one thing too. Is like that just shows you, almost to like what I call Mars point, where it's like these new WNBA fans, like you don't remember what year, like 2008, 2009, because we love some Candace Parker. Mm-hmm. Then we found out about Sheldon, and we were like,
Hey, they let me know I had a chance.
No.
As soon as he go get a drink, say to mommy, "Well, I'm asking, what are the?" You know what I'm saying? You ain't attacking with your mind. He coming back.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Sheldon Williams, man. But yeah. So, all right. So we'll get to going with our NBA Finals preview. We'll get that queued up, and before we get started on that, let's get that started with the NBA. All right, so we'll talk about this matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. So pretty much, I'm gonna go around the horn, fellas. First off, what is the storylines to watch in this NBA Finals series? What you got, Tony?
I'm gonna be as diplomatic and as respectful as I can be with this, big bro. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown got to get they got to get the damn job done. You know, as much as I love Luka, I love what Dallas got going on over there. I think the pressure is on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You know, now here's the thing though, it's like a catch-22 because between Luka, the Jays, Kyrie, I love all these guys. I got 4 dogs in the race, so whoever wins, I'm gonna be happy. But the point of the matter is, if we talking basketball, we talking NBA. This is the Boston Celtics, what 5th, 6th, strike at it, and their second time on the biggest stage. We can go with the storyline. You know, Kyrie going back to Boston, that's interesting. Luka, got an opportunity to repeat history. You know, do something that Dirk did. You know, taking down some of the top teams in the West, and then an opportunity to go at the juggernaut in the East. Luka can literally repeat history because this is exactly what Dirk did in 2011. But when it comes down to the gist of it, I think if the Jays don't get it done, we talking about a team that's about to break up. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jaylen Brown get moved, or I don't think the Boston Celtics would come off Jason Tatum just respectfully, but I think they would come off Jaylen Brown, trade him away. And I would hate to see that because I feel like the Jays had that same kind of story arc as Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, as far as 2 wing players being organically drafted to an organization, going through the ringer, different iterations of the team. These 2 dudes have seen it all. So ultimately, the storyline I'm looking at anyway, bro, is can the Jays get it done? Because I didn't lost so much money on these Boston Celtics the last 5 years. I can't afford to do it no more, man. I need them to get the job done.
Word. Basically, same here. Like everything you saying, I'm a rather since you went that way, I'm a go Kyrie. You know what I mean? Like this would be a great story, B.
Yes.
You know, when I first got on this show, I didn't understand why he left. You know what I mean? Like why he left. And everybody said, well, he was gonna get traded, and I was like, I don't think Brown was gonna let him get traded. You know what I mean? And then Jerome came on the team, and he's a Duke guy, right? Ain't your high school homeboy coach named Jerome? He's a Duke guy, and he was like, man, Kyrie, and then play no defense. And then he left, and then I said, Coach, he said he wanted to be his own man. Well, the good and bad with that is you got to go through all those trials and tribulations to be that. And I think it'd be a historical story for Kyrie to win a chip, just like when Kobe did, because Kobe had to do some humbling too before he got his chip. And I think it'd be a great story and it all goes together, because even though that wasn't the Kobe that he was talking about, I think it was the Kobe with the president or something of the Cavs or something like that. I just think that would be great, man. Out of all the negativity, all the canceling, him losing the Nike deal, and all these different things, to being healthy in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, some games 12 and just taking the back seat and say, because I felt like, what's he doing? I was like, well, maybe he maturing himself and pushing when he need to be, because even in that Timberwolves game, I remember that when he started pushing himself, he started driving harder to the basket. So that's what I'm around. I think that's the biggest. I think for me, that's the biggest storyline. Plus what you said, Tony. I think that's one. Definitely. One more I'm gonna throw out there is Porzingis and Luka. Porzingis is the one that went on the podcast and was saying that him and Luka didn't get along, and he called him a baby. So I think that those are some stories. Some more there, but I think those probably the main ones.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So I think mine's obviously carried back to Boston. Kristaps Porzingis is cleared to play for game one. For the Celtics, could they win title number 18?
Right.
You look at this. I look at it's the battle of duos. Obviously, you got, like you said, in Dallas on the end, you got Luka, Kyrie, then you got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So it's a battle of duos. And honestly, I think this is the ultimate battle of the face of the league. You look at it where you look at, if Luka wins, I know a lot of people are going to look at him as the odds-on favorite to be the face of the league. And then also if Jason Tatum wins, and obviously, he'll, it's a hell of a summer. You win, you win a championship, you get your money, and then you might be deemed as the face of the league. So it's going to be very, very interesting 2 weeks to say the least, and it'll definitely help kind of set the stage. Definitely, I think I look at it. Even I think about the Olympics, like as far as like, I mean, even thinking about the Olympics, even not 6 months, maybe. Almost about 6 months away. I mean, 6 weeks away. My bad, 6 weeks away. So you look at it. So I definitely think that's going to be a good. Whoever wins this probably had to face the league, especially if one of them wins the MVP for sure.
I think that's a great point, Coach. Mom, I want to cook on that Kyrie story a little bit more, because it's funny how the stars are aligning up, as far as Kobe being his mentor, Kobe having, like you said, having to go through that same 7-year journey, in between his championships. If you think I already have Kyrie in my top 10, point guards, but I think he gets a little slighted because of, the crucifixion he went through the media. Do y'all think this would put him in the top 5, top 10 conversation as far as point guards go, if he's able to vindicate his legacy with this championship?
All time.
All time.
Because
I always notice when people do their top 5 all time, I mean, it's a kind of a bias there, but I never hear Kyrie in the mix, and we can't say he's the best ball handler and the most skilled player we ever seen.
How old is he?
Turn around and not give him his flowers on the top 5 list or top 10 list.
How old is he?
31.
He's 31. I think it would probably be once he win, it'd be whispers. Let's say that. Because I always said they've always said great things about it, and he is remarkably nasty. You know what I mean, when he's on the court. I think some of the stuff he say PR wise, he would mess himself, and he speak well. That's what's crazy. You know what I mean?
Sounds just like Kobe.
He speaks. I think it would be okay. He's gone. He's on his way, because that would be 2. He got some finals, and I think they would, because I think this is his maturity. I think this is his true graduation. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? That you're gonna really like. I was watching something today. They was like, when Kobe was 8, he was 8. But once he got 24, when he became 24, that's when they start comparing him to Jordan. You know what I mean? And I ain't never look at it like that. And I think, I'm telling you, I think if he was to win, I think it's going to say they have to talk about him differently. Yeah. They have to. For me, I'm not being biased either. I think I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna look at him a little differently. If him being a point guard, he played more like a 2. You know what I mean? I think now he's playing more like a point guard. You know what I mean? Because in some games he only got like 12 points. You know what I mean? And even his assists is still not even that well. So definitely, but I just say, you say point guard, I would definitely look at him as a differently as a player. Okay.
I'm not there yet. I'm gonna be real with you. I ain't quite there yet. Right. I mean, when you look about the historical significance on, as far as I look at it, I mean, I think about other point guards like John Stockton, Oscar Robertson, CP3. You can almost put him in that same boat like Allen Iverson. I'm already named like 5 guys already. Mm-hmm. He can get there. He has a possibility. I think he would definitely. I think he's probably the most skilled ball handler. Pause. In the league. I gotta do it. Man, that was crazy.
No Diddy.
That was crazy. Wow.
I mean, as far as
wow for that one.
I think,
Crazy.
but I think that's one thing. I think when you look at it from that standpoint, wow. Like, oh boy,
Greatest ball
but
handler ever.
yeah. So
Oh.
I gotta clip that audio. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. But I didn't mean it like that. But anyway, but all right, I gotta reel it in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not quite there when it comes to like as far as the top 10 per se. I would make a case maybe for like top 25, top 20. I think he's there. I mean, and I think and plus he still has a lot to, as far as his career. So I think that's one thing too. I think I want to keep in the factor too, because I think if he wins some more rings and he gets there, so pretty much that one. So I do want to kind of go into some of the comments. So, and this is an interesting one. So shout out to D Clue. Now, over under how many times Kyrie, and this and we say it in a jokingly way, but I mean it's we are well aware of the terrain that happens in Boston. So it's not like we know that this is very possible. This is distinct. I mean, it's a possibility. It's a distinct possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say about 4 or 5 times at least.
I'm hoping
David Portnoy now. Let me stop.
I know that Kyrie has he's been back to Boston a few times and they wasn't nice to him. So I doubt, him coming back.
All right. And it'll be the NBA Finals.
Yeah. It's blood in the water, it's like winner take it all. So over under, I'm giving him 9. I'm gonna go. No, let's go with 11. I think he can.
11. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 11 because Boston is cruel, man. They didn't got under LeBron's skin a couple times. So
right. Yeah. Any thoughts on him out?
Oh, I don't know, about 10. You know what I mean? He gonna be all right, man. Like, he gonna be all right, man. Like, he already know what to look forward to. And I don't know, like I just seen more maturity this playoffs anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah,
That's
true.
I'm sorry, Coach.
Yeah,
I mean,
overcome it, but yeah, just the fact. Oh my bad. Yeah, it's just like you said. It's the unfortunate part of it where it's like we know he's gonna get it. As far as pause again, but we know that he's gonna essentially, have this problem. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
like all the stars did.
Yeah, a few more comments. Yeah, and it's NBA Finals, so it's a little bit more hype. Mm-hmm. I think that's why that's where the question really kind of came from in a sense, because obviously it's the NBA Finals. This isn't a regular season game in June, not June, but in January. So
let me throw this in real quick. I would think Kyrie gonna be okay. I think Luka gonna be the one. I think Luka is the emotional, young, unexperienced one that need to focus. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I put on later on the show. I think he's gonna be the one if the crowd was to get to him. You know what I mean? I think he may be the one.
Yeah.
Can I follow that up? I'm sorry, before we get right back to that. I see. I was a Luka critic when this playoff started. Now, I think Luka got that Kobe Jordan. Once you start yapping at him, he gonna get hot.
I think he do too.
You may not want to talk crap to him. You know what I mean? Let him just, if you're having a good night, bad night, just salute.
But they're gonna be physical, and they're gonna let Boston be physical too, and too. Yeah. It's the Boston Celtics in the finals, man. It's a different animal. Yeah,
Yeah, he proved it. So also a few more comments. Definitely shout out to our guy Carlton Canteen NBA. Yes, Boston by 20 tomorrow night. Hey,
crazy.
We know Boston got a tendency either they're gonna blow you out, they're gonna get blown out. They very rarely have close games.
Oh wow.
for sure. And then also calls again to our previous topic. Stephen A. Smith got cooked, man. So
Bad.
I made Monica McNutt.
Oh man,
who is Monica? I was like, whoa, double down, Stephen A. Smith.
That's what I was saying, bro. Just take your L, fam. Take your L.
Take your L, bro. He said,
Y'all see what?
that was wild. I was like, yo.
Did you see what Jamel Hill tweeted about that Stephen A. rant? Yeah, and I never agree with Jamel Hill. I'm very rarely. She get hot sometimes, but I was like, damn, you're right on the money with that one, man. Stephen A.
Wow. He was a lose situation. You know that too. Like, man, hey, man, just be quiet.
Just be quiet. Yeah, man. Hold your L.
Yeah. Must be quiet, right? Because you don't tell somebody that you made them. Come on now. Let's be smart about it. That's that.
We talking about a black woman on TV.
Right. And one thing, and they might not even like each other. You okay?
But they're bad against each other for sure. And make you look crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we gotta talk about our players to watch in this series. So what are some players to watch for you, and who you got your eyes on in this matchup? Tony, what you got?
I got 3 names, big bro. It's kind of like the others that Shaq, he always calls the role players the others. For Dallas, I'm gonna go. I'm actually got 5 names because it's just rounding off the starting lineups essentially. PJ Washington for Dallas, and of course the young rookie Derek Lively. Can he keep up his historic run? He out there looking like a young Tyson Chandler, and of course one of the more interesting matchups I think is going to be Porzingis' skill versus Daniel Gafford's athleticism. Because Porzingis injured, that calf may come into play. But if the Boston Celtics can slow down the court and slow down the game, then I don't think the athleticism would be as much of a factor as it was against Minnesota in the OKC series. And on the Boston side of the ball, it's the front court, because we all know Luka and Kyrie. They giving Stephen and Clay a run. That's my greatest backcourt. I say they get a little bit close to giving Isaiah and Joe Dumars a run for the one of the best duos ever. But can Derek White and Drew Holiday live up to their perimeter defensive reputations? Because if you're gonna earn your money, man, you're gonna be one of those quote unquote elite defensive perimeter defenders. This is the time to show it, because you got 2 of the greatest closers in NBA history, and they hot, So they're just those 5 guys kind of rounding out the starting lineups, for each team. Mainly PJ Washington. I'm looking at him. He was, scoring on a historic clip, in these previous series. He kind of disappeared a little bit against Minnesota, just sort of he had to stick a little bit more defense on Ant-Man, but against OKC, he was putting up 20-25 a night. So they're going to definitely need him. And like I say, on the other side, that perimeter defense for Boston.
Sure. What you got, Mel?
Oh, man. I agree with a lot of stuff what Tony was saying. I'm going to just say, I'm going to keep it short with Boston. D. White and Holiday, just stay consistent and be impactful against the Pacers. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. If you really pay attention to that Pacers series, the Pacers could have easily won, but I think their anxiety towards the end of the game, I think they beat themselves with a lot of the stupid turnovers, the coach not understanding that they were young and guiding them. Because to me, Rick Carlisle was the star player on that team, because he has the knowledge. He'd been there before. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there was 2 games he could have did a timeout, and then Holiday ended up, I think Holiday stole the ball, I think both times. And then the one where Halliburton dribbled off his foot twice,
Yeah.
And I got Jaylen Brown just stay confident in his aggressiveness, like hitting those 3-pointers at the end of the game that, you know what I mean? The one that sent it in, wasn't it an overtime game?
Yeah.
Was it like game 1? Like, you know what I mean? So for the Mavs, like I think when the Mavs made that trade, they've always been scary to me. So like we all know what Kyrie, we all know what Luka can do, but D Jones, Gafford, Lively, I think even Maxey coming back because against that Clippers game, he got like 17 points in 19 minutes, and it's 4 games. So even if he had some off games, that one game was just that's what they needed. So and he's 6'10", Gafford's 6'10", and then PJ Washington, and then I was looking at Boston's bench, and then I looked at the Mavs bench, and on their bench, they still got Powell, they still got Tim Hardaway Jr. and Markieff Morris, and I'm like, they might be a key into some of these in some of these games. So those are the players I got to watch. You know what I mean?
Good point.
I think Dallas, and to your point, Maxi Keebler, I think he's the one definitely. He's gonna be, I think, potentially be a problem for Al Horford potentially, and Porzingis potentially. I know they probably have him at the 4 coming off the bench, so he'll be there to kind of. He's mobile, he'll kind of create some floor spacing for the Mavs. So, and I think he can kind of disrupt that front court of Boston potentially, in spurts. I think, except for PJ Washington, I'm really curious how he's going to bounce back. Because obviously, as you talked about it, Tony, that series against Minnesota where he was non-existent, but in OKC series, it was like he was lights out. I think one of those games he had almost 30 points. I think he had like 29 points in one of the games. So you look at that, and the health of Derek Lively, the second, where you look at obviously he had that neck sprain, and then it looked like a similar play in that closeout game, but he ended up being fine. So it's kind of one of those where I want to see how he goes against. Also, too, how they're gonna kind of throw him, PJ, Daniel Gafford, all those guys, and Keebler together to kind of get that front court to see what's going to happen there. And obviously, the duo with Kyrie and Luka. I think of Boston. I think obviously without the duo, we all know about the duo. I think it's Drew Holiday and Derek White because they're gonna be the ones who are gonna be summoned to potentially stop this backcourt. So it's kind of one of those where I think they will be very, this would be a definitely different series compared to the Indiana series. So you want to see what these guys are going to do. And I think what they said, I think Drew was in the press, I think either the day or yesterday, and they asked him what he's going to do as far as guarding Kyrie and what have you. He said, I'm going to pray. So it's one of those where from that situation where I think that's probably was the best answer in a sense as far as the strategy when it comes to potentially guarding Kyrie Irving. So yeah, I look at they'll be kind of key if the players will watch. As far as I want to see how they will react defensively to Kyrie and Luka.
I like that. That's a good point, man. I'm almost kind of scared for Boston, man. If Kyrie and Luka look like they did against the Timberwolves, the only advantage I think the Boston Celtics have is they have more bodies they can throw. Because Minnesota only really had McDaniels and Anthony Edwards, and they needed Anthony Edwards to be they scorer. Right. I think Boston has an advantage as far as personnel, having more people. But man, Luka and Kyrie will cook whoever you throw at them. It ain't like you got an answer there,
right? And that's gonna be like the scary proposition, especially in this matchup, because we all know if they both go off. Yeah, you stand no chance in hell. Look at what happened in the Minnesota series. Like when they had them down nights, they had chances, and I think and they still was even in the game, even when they struggled. So the Boston Celtics will win their 18th championship if they do this. What you got, Tony?
If Jason Tatum plays like the media, well, I can't say the media have been hyping him up, but if Jason Tatum plays what we projected him to be from the day he was drafted, we all know he was supposed to be the next one in line, the Larry Bird, Paul Pierce, Jason Tatum. You didn't think so, man? I didn't think it in the beginning, but I will say this: Jason Tatum. My thing with the Jays has always been this: Jaylen Brown has the mentality of a first option, but he doesn't have the skill set. Jason Tatum has the skill set of a first option, but he doesn't have the mentality. If you mash these dudes up in some kind of, a melting pot, it would probably be one of the best players ever. But the fact that they are 50-50, I'm going to need Jason Tatum to adopt some of that mentality, just be a dog, get to the rim, because I think, a couple of times if he gets roughed up going to the rim, he'll just, settle for threes and shoot 14 threes, hit 4 of them, and just shoot you out the game. But if Jason Tatum, again, to get that mid-range, he was showing a little post game in this playoff series. I don't know if that's because they've been playing injured teams, and he has the advantage. But I would love to see a little bit more post game from him. Just come off the 3-point line, man. I think Boston Celtics, if they can get a MVP Jason Tatum, I know Mally gonna probably have his criticism. I think they can make it work. I think they can make it work, man. JT can't let us down, because in 2022. I was looking for him. I couldn't find Jason Tatum anywhere. And it was kind of. He was 24 back then, but I think now he's a little bit more developed, so he can ball out. Banner 18 will be raised.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it simple. I heard some things that people were saying about Boston, and then I looked at their stats, and what I saw was they rebound the hell out of that ball. I'm looking at all these stats. You got Pritchard, 11 points, 5 rebounds. I'm just looking at them. I'm like, damn, the whole team is rebounding. And I think that's the issue, is that everybody the problem with NBA, they don't never want to say team. They always want to say, hey, this person right here needs to step up. I've been hearing stuff of guys saying, because he getting paid this much, but he's not better than this guy. It's stupid stuff. Man, as a team, because they didn't have Porzingis, and everybody was like, well, they would blah, blah, blah if they had Porzingis. I wonder if they play better without him. But I guess they saying having him is better, because they are a great conditioned team. They beat the Pacers by just staying aggressive and had a steady flow. You know what I mean? They never stopped. If you really pay attention, they never stopped. They'd be down by 20, and they still was able to come back. You know what I mean? So I put stay aggressive. They one of the best conditioned team, and I said, keep rebounding the ball. I think that's going to be the key. They get 40. They average in the playoffs 46.3 rebounds, and in the playoffs so far. And offensive is 10, defensive is 34. I'm sorry, yeah, that's right. And then the Mavs is 43.1, offensive 11, and defensive is 31. So just stay aggressive and keep rebounding, and just keep doing that, and stay consistent. And don't worry about if you miss a shot and this and that. Just keep going, man. Just keep going. I think that's gonna be it. What else can you do? They play defense. Like I said, that's it. What else can you do? What else can you really do? You've been there before. You can't really. I mean, the biggest thing is, which we really gonna be watching, is how really they gonna play with Porzingis in the playoffs. Porzingis, what has he done in the playoffs? No disrespect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're making a point, bro. Because Porzingis ain't proved nothing. He ain't proved nothing to nobody.
Know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there I hear what everybody's saying. I'm not dissing Porzingis, but he's always to me been a problem. When have you said, "Oh man, well Porzingis was such and such"? They had the greatest chemistry. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I'm gonna tell you something. Probably when they sit him down is when he take a break. That's probably when they're gonna be really playing. Anyway, rebounding. That's our main thing, is just keep rebounding the game. Keep rebounding. Make sure y'all hit those boards.
Amen.
Yeah, I think for Boston to win, I definitely think Tatum and I should say the Jays, and also just I think even the Celtics in general, they got to get to the basket. Obviously, I look at Jason Tatum in their matchup against the Mavericks in January. I think he had a season high 19 free throw attempts. I definitely think he needs to get to the basket. I'll kind of talk about his struggles, in the Mavericks portion of it. So I look at that. Drew Holiday, I definitely think if he can contain Kyrie Irving, I think that's going to be one of the biggest keys. I think and we also know, can the Celtics tire out Luka and Kyrie defensively? I think that's another key. I think if they can get them kind of to a point where they are essentially like tire themselves out, that's going to potentially help them as far as help Boston on their end, while Kyrie and them are struggling offensively to get shots up and what have you. So I definitely think if they tire them out, I think this could be a situation where I think this can bode well for them, because obviously that duo, when they're on their own, and if you can kind of stop them in some type of instance, you got the upper hand for sure.
May I say this real quick, big bro? Because I didn't notice this the first night. When they closed the series, them fools, Luka and Kyrie had 72 points. The Dallas Mavericks as a team had 52. That's Jason Kidd and everybody else in Texas had 52 points. Them fools literally won Game 5 by themselves. You know what I mean? Outscored. I think at one point it was Kyrie and Luka had 49 in the first half, and then and the Minnesota Timberwolves had 42. It was like what?
And you brought up a good point.
Right.
Yeah, and that's scary because I swear, because Luka scored like 22 in that first half, and that by far was like, to me, was like one of the quietest first halves. I'm like, damn, I just sat there on Game 5, like, damn, he got 22 points already, and it's almost like it was like in the blink of an eye. And like I said, that Game 5 was scary, and I think that's kind of one of those where it's like they put them to sleep early. It's like, that's when you get to a point, you Minnesota, okay, what's for dinner?
In your crib. It came in your crib. Put you to sleep, ate your food, and left.
Right.
Man, never seen nothing like that. Honestly, in all my years watching, I've never seen a team. I've never seen a team just come in and just get it done early. I thought Minnesota was going to make it 7. I was talking crazy online for a little while, but that's why I'm worried for Boston, man, because Boston will lay an egg. No problem.
That's because they play better without Rudy, man. Nobody want to say it, but like I said last week, I said I went back and looked at Game 2. They put Anderson there. Anderson is a point guard, like slow-mo, so he can. He helping them that's holding the ball. He's doing the picks. He played 1 through 5, and I was like, that's why they could switch. They was just doing better with him, and because they can all move their feet. Rudy can't really move his feet. Rudy's good. He kind of like AD. He's really good with coming from your blind side to block your shot. You know what I mean, or make you mess your shot up. You know what I mean. So I think that OKC. I think that OKC series, I think that might have helped the Mavericks grow.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. I think sometimes when you're in the playoffs, you get your confidence up and y'all gel. You start trusting other players. Like, oh man, PJ Washington got 37 points. Oh, you know what I mean. And everybody have like what's it? Jay Green made some points. You know what I mean. Like I think in the playoffs that's what ended up happening. So like. I think they dangerous. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and this OKC, and this Boston is almost like an older version of OKC, a more mature version of OKC in a sense. So it's kind of one of those where it's going to be really interesting how it all plays out. So let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks. So Dallas Mavericks will win their 3rd NBA championship. What you got, Tony?
If Jason Kidd keep Jason kidding, that man is doing some coaching. And I was really just breaking down some tape, watching. I forget who it was on. I forget who it might have been ESPN, but they was displaying how Jason Kidd sets up the offense at the half, literally in the half court area. He does that so you can't double Kyrie or Luka. A lot of people are gonna try to immediately come. And it spaces the floor out instantly. If you ever notice, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively do not leave the dunk spot. They come set a pick and they go right to that dunk spot because it helps. Well, as far as how they was breaking it down on the game tape, it just helps keep the court spread. And once Kyrie and Luka, they can get their offense in within 5, 6, 10 dribbles if they want to. Whether it's getting to the rim, mid range, 3-pointer. So. As much as we talk about Luka, Kyrie, I love those guys. I think that Jason Kidd ain't really getting his proper flowers because, we all know he won as a player for the Dallas Mavericks, the opportunity to win as a coach as well. And he's actually not just one of those lame duck coaches. He got 2 Hall of Famers, 2 world-class elite closers, but he's actually still putting pen to pad and coaching his guys and getting them motivated. And another thing, Kyrie spoke highly of Tyronn Lue a little bit, at times, but I've never heard Kyrie speak about a coach the way he's talking about Jason Kidd. As far as I listen to Jason Kidd, Kyrie gave Steve Nash and that other coach in Brooklyn the hardest time. So if you can get Kyrie to listen and buy in, and of course I'm sure Luka bought in as well. Just listening to all of Dirk stories, I'm pretty sure Jason Kidd gave him a lot of Dirk stories to motivate him. And I'm scared I'm getting a little long with it, big bro. But I think Jason Kidd, if he keeps coaching the way he is, Dallas Mavericks gonna walk into a championship.
Yeah, and like you said, and shout out to Kenny Atkinson, man. They gave him a raw deal. Hopefully, he'll be a coach in the next coaching cycle in 2025. Shout out to our guy.
I agree with you on that, bro. He got KD and Kyrie and James Harden. Oh God.
Oh God, Kenny Atkinson.
That's true.
It's the Nets, man. They known for doing stupid stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what you got, Mal?
What I put down here? Basically, man, as long as Luka and Kyrie just do what they do, they're gonna be all right. Cause it's gonna open up for those 4 players. It's gonna open up for Lively. It's gonna open up for D Jones, Gafford. You know what I mean? I just think if I had to pick between the two, I'm looking at Luka and Kyrie as the more dynamic duo. I mean, truth be told, I'm paying attention to Boston and Jaylen Brown coming out of his mouth kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? Talking about, Jason Day finally woke up, and then when he got that finals MVP, I don't want to be that guy to throw the narrative out there. But I know what I seen, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, Jaylen Brown won final MVP. And he should have, but I'm like, Tatum, or you can look at it like this might be Boston's year because Tatum won the NBA All-Star Weekend, MVP. So I could be positive, but I just feel like as long as if Luka ain't making his shots like he is, and he eventually will find his shot. He needs to make his free throws. Because one thing they may do, they may foul him. They're going to be physical. And if you in Boston playing, they going, and you're not going to get all the calls, So Kyrie needs to do what he do, get to the free throw line, knock down his free throws. Kyrie, we can't have no 12 points. Not in this one. We got to get that 25. You know what I mean? Like I said, in the supporting cast, definitely this is a big thing for Jason Kidd too. You know what I mean? To be the head coach of all the negative stuff the Bucks said about him when he was a coach. So hopefully, I really want to see if he's going to do something with Tim Hardaway Jr. And you know what I mean? Because he's been on the bench, and I wonder if he's gonna slide him in there. But I just think long as the two star stuff up and do what they do, I think everything is gonna open up for them. Also, again, rebounding. I think if you out rebound, because like you said, more mature OKC. One thing OKC did, they shot that 3-pointer well. I think if you hit the boards and out rebound, don't give them offensive rebounds. Don't get them, because that's one thing they did against the Pacers. It was a bunch of open rebounds, and I'm like, what is Miles Turner doing? So definitely out rebound him, and I think everything will fall into place.
Yeah, I think with the Mavericks, I think one thing, and I talked about it in the Celtics, as far as I know, I talked about how Tatum and them need to get to the basket. I think if Dallas forces them to do mid-range, I think he's going to potentially be a problem for Boston, especially Jason Tatum, unless he overcomes it, because I think he's shooting 33% from mid-range in the playoffs. So it's kind of one of those where I like if he continues on that trajectory, that's going to be some nights that he's going to be off. I mean, that's if we playing by the averages to keep it a buck. So I definitely think if they can kind of contain the paint area, I definitely think and force them in those mid-range shots, and it could be skewed in as the series progress. I think if they look at it from a strategy, hey, if they beat us on the mid-range one night, we'll take it. Then 3 days later we'll try to employ another strategy. I think, so I look at it from that standpoint. I think, and I look at just their supporting cast. I think they're going to be the ones when their situation, especially, when they go home, like, will they step up? Obviously we think about, games 3, 4, potentially 6 if the series does extend that far. Who will be those guys that, we look at, like, who will be the unsung heroes in those games, essentially. When you look at, could it be Maxey? Could it be PJ? Could it be Daniel Gafford? Could it be, those guys that can potentially step up? And that definitely think it's a heavy dose of Kyrie and Luka. I definitely like to talk about it ad nauseum, where essentially when they're on, and it's something that you can really stop. Like we talked about Game 5, when Game 5 was like a buzzsaw, like to a point where, it was over at halftime. It was one of those where we all knew, hey, the season was over. I mean, if I was, the guys from Minnesota, I get that little black trash bag and start putting stuff in my locker and kind of, hey, take some of it. Get the equipment guy to put one of them bags in my car at halftime so I can get the hell out of here before it's over. It was that bad in game.
Beat the traffic.
Right.
Yeah, but
I'm cleaning out my locker tonight. It's that bad. Like, Coach Finch, I don't care what you're saying. Like, give me another bag, Coach. Fucking pack up all my deodorants and body wash, shoes. It was that terrible. But yeah, that's what I think ultimately going to be the keys for the Dallas Mavericks to win their third NBA championship. So, got prediction time. So, fellas, we gotta go into our predictions. So, who's gonna win the NBA Finals? And how many games? What you got, Tony?
Come on, Tony.
Big bro, I always got my pocket and I got my heart. You know what I mean? A lot of people say they mind in it. I got my money on the Boston Celtics. I got money on the Celtics. But what I've seen from Kyrie and Luka, man, and like I say, I was a Luka critic at the beginning of the 2024 playoffs. I am a believer. So my heart is with the Dallas Mavericks. But again, I'm gonna stick to my what I've been saying. I'm gonna stay consistent. I've been putting a lot of pressure on the Jays. I've been supporting them for like the last, I'm gonna be frank. I've been loving Jaylen Brown since day one. I've always loved him. Jason Tatum has kind of grown on me. So again, I just want to support these young fellas, and hopefully they are able to, get the job done. Got a couple dollars on that, but I got Boston in 6, big bro, just because I'm committed to it. But my heart is saying Dallas in 5. yeah, I got Boston. I've been saying Boston since 6 since I did a show with my boy Darian Hopkins. Shout out to the D Hopkins show. So we did our early.
D-Hop, our brother. Yeah. Raider Nation stand up. I got D-Hop. Yeah, yes, sir. Shout out D-Hop.
Pray for Raider Nation.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Aiden O'Connell.
yeah, man. But me and
right,
bro, we did that early NBA prediction. I'm gonna go Boston in 6.
Okay, so okay, we just making sure. So with your brain, you got the Celtics in 6. So we put it on the graphic. If you Javante Porter, you said Mavericks in 5, right? Okay.
No. Jonte Porter. I'm putting my bet on Boston in 6. I'm willing to be banned for that. So Boston in 6.
For the graphic, we Boston in 6. All right. So Mal, what you got?
Let me stop. I got the Dallas Mavericks. Honestly, I'm gonna be bold. I was gonna say 6, but I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna say 5. I think they can get 1. But I'm gonna say 5.
Western Conference Finals Part 2 now.
Yeah,
I know, right? Ooh, well, right.
They was calling Anthony Edwards and Michael Jordan 2 weeks ago.
You gotta stop doing that, man.
Lord have mercy.
They gotta stop doing that, really.
Hey, that's what happens. That's the media. They chew you out and spit you out. Pause. But
every time,
But yeah, that's what they do every time, right? So yeah, I got the Celtics in 6. So Celtics fans will be like, we're gonna win in Dallas, but we're gonna go to the Harbor and have a championship and go and take an Uber to the Harbor for the party. So I think Nuggets gonna win it.
I like that accent, that Boston
Ain't
accent.
no way in hell I want Boston to win and get what 19? What does it be? 18 or 19?
18.
18 at the party.
Ain't no way I'm picking them. Nah, not yet, yo. Not yet, yo.
I can't wait.
Nah.
I can't wait.
Nah, not yet.
We have a party with Walter McCarty.
Clam chowder.
Clam chowder. and take a don't drive your car. Take an Uber.
I can't even do the Boston accent, bro. I was listening to. They got a Sam Adams commercial with Derek White and like a Boston fan. You seen that? And
I want to see that. I'm gonna do some research.
It's a good commercial. Like it's a very dope commercial, NBA Finals commercial. But in the commercial, the Boston fan is trying to teach Derek White how to talk like a Boston Knight. I can't do it, man. That accent is too strong, bro.
Oh, man. Oh, that'd be wicked fun.
You got it too, man. I'm like, hey, well, it sound Boston to me.
Bobby Brown. Yeah, my mom came with her car. What did she say?
She said that's why I didn't have a car. Because I'm not used to Bobby Brown having an accent. That's what was so crazy about that. I was like, it just threw me off. Was like, what?
Bobby Brown from Boston?
Yes. I'll be the last. Look. Him and Johnny Wahlberg, because New Kids on the Block is from there too. They used to date the same girl from the Roxbury Projects. That's crazy, ain't it?
Wow. Small world. Small Boston.
For sure.
And once you catch the accent, it's hard because even if you listen to their music, you can start hearing little, like for instance, listen to what video is that? The All Night Long joint with the little slow song when he was talking to the lady. He was like, "It's okay, thickness. Just catch the flight." Like, you know what I'm saying? He said it so well. I was like, all I think about is him. Because he was like, man, I was tripping when I heard Bobby Brown say, my mom brought the car. I was like, what?
Right.
Oh, that's funny, bro.
Crazy.
It's like young Bobby Brown and talking about, I had to go to the studio, but I didn't have my car. Like,
yeah, my God.
That's
oh my God.
I was like, wow, but that was so wow. Yeah, man. So this wraps up our NBA Finals preview. So, obviously we got to transition, unfortunately, to some sad news in the football world. We'll cue that up here, where Larry Allen, the former Cowboys offensive guard, passed away on Sunday. Actually, unfortunately, he was actually vacationing with his family in Mexico. Larry Allen is a 6-time. He made the first team all in the NFL 6 times. Super Bowl 30 champion. 11-time Pro Bowler. He's an NFL All-Decade Team member of the 90s and 2000s, and also was a part of NFL's 100th anniversary team and the Hall of Fame class of 2013. So going around the horn, fellas, just your thoughts on the passing of Cowboy legend Larry Allen.
You want to go first on this one, man?
I didn't know much about him, so when this came out, I did some research, and it seemed like he was really, really beloved and a good guy. He was from Compton, California. I watched his Hall of Fame speech, and I really loved what he said about his wife and how they met. He said, when I knew she was the one, he said she cooked 2 chickens. He said on their first date, she cooked for him. And he said it was 2 chickens, some fries. She baked him a cake, and then gave her a 40-ounce. And I'm trying to tell you something, bro. If that ain't Compton, you know what I'm saying? That's hood. Like, I was just like, and he was just laughing about it. and you could just sense that he was really beloved. Even how he joked about, Reggie White dominated him. He never had that happen to him, and he said, so he worked hard the next year, and then he became the strongest man in NFL. And he said, I did it like you supposed to. I did it, the right way. He didn't take no steroids. So he said the rest of his career, like twice a month or something like that, they would get urine tests. They would test me. And so he laughed about it, And stuff about his grandmother. Just that speech was really, really good. You know what I mean? Now, from what I've seen, the highlights, it was a lot of respectful guys that had to go up against him, and they was like, man, I used to talk so much trash, but I didn't talk trash to him. And I'm ended like this. That's one of the beautiful thing about sports, because he is a big reason why Emmitt Smith became who, you know what I'm saying? Like seriously, when he got there, he's one of the big reasons why Emmitt Smith ended up being who he is. And to see Emmitt Smith tear up the way he did, and I can understand, you know what I mean? But man, he was young. I'm 45, bro. I'll be 46 this year. He wasn't that much older than me. He's not that much older than me. So like, really, I'm sure he was beloved to his family and his players, and I just want to send out love and strength to them, because I know you don't ever think somebody is going to pass away at 52.
Yeah,
you know.
And well said, big bro. Funny story, man, and not really funny, but I met Larry Allen, and this dude was huge. When I first moved to Texas, my older brother, he took me out to the Cowboy Stadium, and happenstance, Larry Allen, a few other guys was there. But I just remember Larry Allen because one, he was huge, and he was just like this big, jovial dude. Like all of the fans that was there, he spoke to everybody. Me, you know what I mean? I got a Green Bay Packers hat on. Like, hey, young man, you know what I mean? Just a big dude. So it's kind of one of those crazy things. I don't know if you gentlemen ever met a real an athlete before, but it's just one of those few guys I got to meet. And when you hear the news, it's like my mind went instantly to that moment. I remember just this big smile, this big dude, just being larger than life, and it's funny. Not like I say, it's not funny. It's just a beautiful thing that you told the story the way you told it, Mal, because that Hall of Fame speech was so consistent with the man I got to spend 45 seconds with. It just in that little time, he made me feel special. I'm like, I'm Green Bay Packers, baby. We've been to beat y'all down again. He didn't, he just wasn't about that. He was just a guy that loved everybody. Legendary career, like you said. I don't think Emmitt Smith is the number one rusher in NFL history without a Larry Allen protecting him and leading the way. But just one of those dudes. I mean, we just lost Bill Walton, man. Me and my dad was talking. I'm like, dang, man, he's just like these are his legends that he grew up with. But respectfully, it's kind of like it's a marking of an era, kind of like just lost Bill Walton, and now we losing Larry. It's just two legends that I was very fond of, that I respected. And again, I'm always hold that Larry Allen story, 45 seconds, but he made an impact on my little life, so I can only imagine what he was did, in his lifetime. So, and one more thing I want to say, when I heard the story too, Coach, he passed in Mexico with his family. They said suddenly, man, it really makes you feel vulnerable, makes you, want to smell the flowers, make sure you kiss and hug on the people that you love, because when they put that word in it suddenly, you know what I mean? So I'm sure ain't no telling them how the story actually went down, but they know I would hate to be on vacation with my family and that happened to them, and just in that kind of way. So prayers to the Allen family. And it just makes you feel, bring things in perspective. But again, 52 years old, he definitely served his purpose on this earth, and, prayers to the family, man. Rest in peace to the legend.
Yeah. When I heard the news, I was just shocked as everyone else. Where you look at it, like you said, 52 years old, and then obviously him being on vacation with his family. We know, he's a family man. He loves his family. So for them to even witness that potentially is something that to me is really jarring. And you look at obviously his competitors, I've heard like Booger McFarland. I know Shannon Sharp. I heard what they were saying as far as just the type of person Larry Allen was on the field. And, almost similar to like, and then also off the field. We talked about Bill Walton last week, like you said. We talked about Bill Walton. These now two figures are like larger than life when it comes not just on the field, but not more than just the stature, but more so of just their impact. Both were, had great personalities, and like even for you, as a child, that for him to make you feel welcome. And I think that's one thing too. I think we always talk about. I always think about like their impact more so than just. I know I talked about the stats just to kind of talk about as far as to introduce it, but like those moments like yours, where you shared a moment with him, and that's something that that's going to carry on for your life, and then you're going to tell that to your children. So it's kind of one of those things where like you just see that impact of even something like that, and then obviously I couldn't watch Emmett. I don't know, for some odd reason, Emmett. I'm swear, dude, that Emmett makes me cry. Anytime he says something, because I remember when he went back to Dallas and he cried up, he cried and he was talking about how, one of the favorite things was he was able to take his daughter's soccer practice. And that made me like tear the hell up. So I seen it and I was like, I can't watch it. But I saw the interview, but I didn't press play. Because I know, that was going to be poignant. And obviously, that team is still close. That Cowboy team, we look about Troy, Emmett, our boy from Moose, Dion, all those guys. They, that 96 they're all close. That Super Bowl team, but the 95 team. So you look at, and that's one thing. Yeah, he's by far was one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time. And like, it's one of the things, like you said, it just really sad the fact that at 52, I mean, like you said, you don't expect it, especially at that age, especially, and I know, people say like, as far as when it comes to NFL players and have that stature, like their lifespan, and we can even say the same thing with Bill Walton. A lot of people didn't think he was gonna make the 71. I think he was 71 or 72. No, he was 71 because he would have been 72 in November or something like that. Yeah, so but still, even regardless of the stats or what people's the conventional wisdom is, but still at 52, it's just heartbreaking. I think even regardless if it was at any age, still heartbreaking because of just the impact that he had on and off the field. So yeah, it's definitely a huge tragedy, unfortunately, but like I said, it does make you, like you said, it does always give you that type of notion, like, hey, smell the roses, cherish every day. It's a gift, regardless of your age, regardless, because unfortunately, we all have an expiration date. We just don't know the time or the day, and it's just another classic example of that. And just cherishing every moment, and it's very heartbreaking. For sure.
Man, I throw another one, big bro. Just prayers to the Cowboy Nation, man, because I lived in Texas for 13 years and just recently moved. I miss Texas like a mug right now. Cowboy Nation, a lot of people got their ring of honors. That's a family out there, man. Those people really cut for each other. They really love their team, and I can only remember when you brought up Dion and Marvin Harrison and Troy, all those. It just made me really think about all the diehard fans that are a lot more closer to a Larry Allen than I ever was. So just prayers for the whole. Again, it's hard to lose a sports legend, especially when you've been watching sports your entire life. Just prayers for the Cowboy Nation. I can't stand them. They one of the more annoying fan bases, but I know the Cowboy heart, Cowboy Nation heart is bleeding right now.
Right.
And I feel bad because I didn't do this on purpose because I'm wearing my Commander's hat. So I'm like, that may have not been the best choice of head choice, but yeah, even with that, I think that's one thing too. Especially a tragedy of this nature, it's bigger than, it's bigger than the rivalry itself. And that's one thing too. When these things happen, the rivalry kind of get shoved away because obviously, not to bring up anything that happened within the organization. It's the same thing where when stuff happened in our organization, they showed us love and what have you, and hey, because at the end of the day, we may not root for we may not get along with each other, on certain months, certain games of the week. certain games, but it's still a human element. I mean, we may not like the team, but hey, we understand, what they're going through, and somebody like that has such impact on their organization. Yeah, yeah,
it's tough.
yeah. So for sure. So we'll put a bow on tonight's Couch Coach Live. Any final thoughts before we head on out tonight? So final thoughts, and also social media. What you got?
Yes, sir. Social media, TonyTheSavant, YouTube. That's my firstborn, my first baby right there. So if y'all don't mind, just swing over there. Got some T-shirts now. Got me a little merchandise finally, big bro. So Legacy Over Money sportswear just launched that. That's my next passion project. So I will be diligently working on that. So just want to plug it. And final thoughts, man. Chris, big bro, and Mal, you too, man. You gentlemen have such an impact on me. I've been a fan of this platform, this brand, this channel for long before I ever came up here. So I just respect you, brothers, for doing what y'all do. Keep doing it. Y'all legends in your own rights, and you got guys like me looking up to you and coming right behind you. If you ever stop, big bro, I ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna go here right past you and bring you with me. But I love. I gotta salute the hustle, big bro. I love people that got that work ethic, that don't give up, that don't take no for an answer. And like I say, I gotta give you gentlemen your flowers, because again, it may not get done tomorrow, but I got to say, two legends in the game. Y'all motivate me and appreciate you, man, for having me up here.
That's what's up. I appreciate you too, man.
Oh, yes, sir, big bro. Yes, sir.
Let me go, coach.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, great show. Like I said, I knew you was gonna be on here, and I know it's it's important because we got the finals coming up. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. Because me and him only do a show once a week, so there's a lot of stuff. I felt like I really wanted to get both our perspectives out. So great show. Happy to be here. Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78, Instagram. I'll be here next week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Look, when the Mavs is up,
what's
the two?
Hey,
Sorry.
News might be over this time.
To think about it, because next Wednesday would be what game? Because it's 3, so it'd be game 3 being Dallas. That'd be because they got game Sunday and then Wednesday, then Friday. Then it's Monday, yeah, something like that. But yeah, so I think we'd be here in game 3 next week. So so that's another one. But once again, definitely great show. Once again, Tony, definitely appreciate you for coming through. And like I said, I'm also inspired by you as well. So my timeline be jumping. Tony he got his content going, so definitely when I get a chance, I always like, support, or share, or comment on it. I definitely appreciate the flowers as well. I gotta give you your flowers as well, man. You're doing your thing, man. I'm definitely appreciative of your support as well, and I'm definitely you got my support as well, man. So definitely appreciate you as well, man, for sure.
Thank you, big bro, for real, from the heart, man, from the heart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And pretty much social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live. Also, the website, couchcoachlive.com. I have 2 articles up. So I think we got an article up for the top 5 Commanders game to watch this season. So check out on the website. And then also I did have a recap of the Defenders season finale against the Arlington Renegades, where they lost 32-31. So we'll also got some content on the website, and we'll be posting some more stuff. Might got some VCU news potentially that might brew on the website, but we'll kind of see what goes on with that. So so this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week. We might have it at the same time. We might do a little earlier because of game 3, so we're not sure. So as series head to Dallas, we'll keep you updated. So this has been this week's Couch Coach Live, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Well, before you sign out, if I ain't too busy next week, you mind if I pull back up? Because I would love to talk about, keep this, the storyline going. Just follow the storylines and keep it a little consistent during this NBA final. That's okay with y'all.
Yeah, as a young kid say, pull up then.
Hey, you been snapping today, Coach. You been snapping.
What he do?
But no, but I probably do make a decision maybe about Sunday or Monday as far as if we do the time, we might have it bump it up because I think the game started 8:30, which I'm glad. Obviously, as an older man now, I get at least an extra half an hour of sleep. Them games, they used to have the NBA at 9:00. Like, why would you do that on a work night?
Yeah, them West Coast
now
games, man.
I know, and like we live on the East Coast.
Remember that Colorado Buff game? I was up about 3 a.m. watching that jump. Dion was like, "This ain't right." He in Colorado. What he complaining about? You know what I mean? He's like, "This ain't right, man. This late." You know, crazy.
And luckily the Commanders had the game at 4:00 because I would have missed that game the next day because I was knocked out. I woke up about 12 o'clock that next morning. I'm like, no, this is too much. I'm like, it's like 1:40. Like, it's in the fourth quarter. Like, yo, and then taking it to overtime. I'm like,
yeah, baby.
Let's get this over with.
When he gets that high voice, me, it gives me every time because I know how he feel. Like,
what the hell?
Right, it's 1:45. Like, why are we overtime? Like, this game should have been over. Yeah,
just kneel.
Yeah, man. But I don't think we got to worry about that too much. I don't think we got to worry about that much this year because with them going to the Big 12, so you probably gonna have some earlier games. I think this year. So finally, I think, because I forgot one game is late. I forgot who they play late.
Somebody
It
said
might be North Dakota State.
It is not meant for you to be watching football at 3:00 in the morning. Like somebody was like, "Yo, you remember how many?" I remember watching like a World Series game or a playoff baseball game that was like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Went like 19 innings. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. I was like, you had to watch it because you was like, "This crazy." You know what I mean?
Hell no, right? But yeah. So we'll wrap up this week's Couch Coach Live, man. And we're out. We'll catch you next week, and we out.